And we're live. Hi, and welcome to Gay Out the City. I'm your host, Prince Electro Diamond, and today I am here with drag queen Rella V. How you doing today, Beb?
I'm doing great. It's a pleasure being here.
Yes. Work. So, where are you originally from?
Originally, I'm from Peru, from Lima, Peru in South America. But I moved literally when I was 4 years old. So most of my life, I lived it here.
That is what. Well, I mean, you said you moved up four, so it's like you kind of don't you like know stuff, but you kind of don't remember a lot.
Yeah, like I remember like very like small details, but not like, oh, like, yeah, like my grandma, my aunt, my uncle. Like I don't remember like all of that. No.
As I was telling you before, I am very much that South Florida kid. Like I've lived here pretty much all my life, except for 4 years when I lived in Orlando. And as we were talking about before, I'm planning on leaving because
I
it's
get you.
just
I
yeah.
don't blame. Like I also like I'm planning on like well in the future like moving somewhere else. Cause I just don't. I got over Florida. Like it just. I was just like, you know what? Like it's something. I need to do something different. Need to be somewhere different. Cause before this, I used to live in actually California for like 2.5 years, and like I loved it over there. So like if anywhere, I would want to move there for sure. Back over there.
See which part of California?
I used to live in Pasadena, like LA area, but I know that area is like super expensive. So I don't know. Like I would want to maybe go up to like San Francisco, around there, that area.
See, that would be nice. I will say this.
Yeah.
I for a brief time thought I was gonna move to LA. And then I realized I'm like I literally had to go to myself. I'm like, bitch, you're gonna get yourself kicked out of every party in 3 fucking days if you live in LA. Cause it's like I am not gonna be the person to tell somebody who's untalented, oh
Right.
my god, babe, you did amazing. You should keep on doing that. I'm literally gonna be the person who's like, okay, don't take this too offensively, but who the fuck told you that you could do that? Like,
Right. Like not to be mean, but girl.
because a lot of people, it's like they're like, but it's encouraging your friends. I'm like, no, that's called setting somebody up for failure.
Right. It's just giving them like it's also you have to give them like like good criticism like you can do this better next time and like help them out I feel like cuz that's what I like for me I just like empowering and like helping like them giving them advice especially for like the new queens cuz I'm fairly new to the game so like that's like my whole thing.
I am, let's see. I say I always consider my start. So like I've taken breaks like
Mm.
well, I took a large break in like the end of 2022 and like the beginning of 2023, but that was more of a health thing. That wasn't like something where like I voluntarily took a break. It's like
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it's like I couldn't walk at one point. So it's like yeah, so it's like that was me taking a break. But it's like I started in 2015. Yeah.
Nice.
So I've been at this like fairly long, but it's like also I've
Do it
shifted like what I've done.
right. But like do it's just doing podcasts or like your music as
No,
well.
no, no. I've no, the podcast came in 20 at the end of 2022 and then like I did one season by myself and then I took like a few months off and then when I came back to do what was it, season 2, I basically said I'm like I want to start interviewing people. I'm out of stories. Like I've
I
said
yeah.
I've said everything. Yeah, so it's like in terms of interviewing people,
Mhm.
this is now God. think this is my 83rd
Oh
interview.
wow.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you've had quite a good amount of like interviews for sure.
yeah. And it's like I always tell people that number would be greater if everybody showed up. But it's like that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like you got to learn. It's like I don't know. I'm a very professional person. Some people aren't. Like,
Yeah. I
and it's
like
like
keeping my word when it comes to like telling somebody I'm gonna be there. Like I
yeah,
love being like, yes, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna make sure. And if I'm not, like I like giving a head notice for sure, because I
yeah.
know how it feels to like give short notice and all that, because that definitely sucks.
Especially it's like it doesn't take me long to get ready, but it's not like it happens in like 2 seconds. Like,
Right, right.
but yeah, there are some
Literally,
people.
literally me today, like this. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get ready like around 3:30. I started getting ready like around almost 4, and I was like, oh my god, am I gonna finish on time? Because normally I take like, depending, like 2.5, 3 hours, depending
Yeah,
maybe. But today I was like, oh, I'm gonna have time. I'm gonna do something like simple, and I was like rushing, and I was like, oh my god, I think I might not make it in time, but like luckily I
yes.
did.
Well, see, that's the thing is some people, as I always say, like the thing that I think takes like the most amount of time is something I don't have to deal with because I kind
Yeah,
of branded myself as like a sunglass queen. So it's like I've never had to do eyes. Like
you don't gotta
so
worry, right?
yeah. So it's like when I tell people it's like, yeah, I can get ready in about the longest it will take me is like an hour. Usually I can get ready in about half an hour to 45 minutes. Like,
Oh wow. See, I'm trying to get there. I mean, I kind of did today
yeah.
in a way. So I think I'm getting a little better at my timing because I'm trying to like shorten it for sure. Like, you know, be like less, spend less time doing my makeup. But I do like I'm a perfectionist, so I have to have everything like perfect.
Well,
That's my
but I mean 2 hours isn't bad. Like there are some queens who take 7, 8 hours to like
That's very
get
true. That's very true.
get ready. When I hear drag race queens about who like did that, I'm like,
Yeah.
aren't you all like on a time slot like for when
Right?
you have to
'Cause
get ready? Like 7 hours. Like
that's not what we see. Because
and it's like especially what was it? I mean, I give it to you, like there was a time the video hasn't come out yet, but there was a time like about like a month ago where we were talking about Salma. Salma did my makeup and like I like appreciated like how long because like it took like about 3 hours, but it's like
yeah.
I'm just sitting there and I'm like,
You're like, girl, like I wanna like get up already.
well, no, I was good because it's like I knew it wasn't gonna be like quick,
Yeah.
but originally she told me like for a YouTube video, she's like, okay, block out this 8 hour block. I'm thinking, okay, sis, like if you think it's gonna take 8 hours, I will gladly sit there and well,
Oh
no,
my.
3 hours is good. I probably would have been impatient after 8 hours. I would have been like,
Yeah.
I would have been like, fucking finish my face, like,
You're like, I'm done. Okay, we're good. That is too funny.
yeah. So, what was it like for you growing up as a kid?
Growing up as a kid, well, before coming out, because coming out was completely
Yeah.
different when I came out. Before
Yes.
coming was it was like I was, living my normal like childhood life, um, go like getting along with my parents and all that stuff. Being a child,
Yes.
very. I was learning a little bit more about myself and my sexuality, of course, and
Yeah.
like as got into middle school, obviously, that's when I started, having these feelings. And then
Yes.
that's when I started, like, actually being more um, out there, like to my being a little more, a little bit being a little bit myself, but at the same time being careful because of my parents, obviously, because they were not as opening to the whole idea. So I kept it to
Yes.
myself, and even then, I kept it to myself, like with my friends and like everything, because I was scared, and like I just
Right.
did. So, and that period of me like realizing that I was like 100% gay, like it completely changed because I was just fighting my own like battles on my own because I didn't want to tell anybody. And finally, I came out to my mom actually when I was in high school in like ninth grade,
Wow.
and you already have an idea of like how that goes. She looked at me like confused. She was like, no, you're confused. You're still young. You don't know." And I was like, "Oh, like here we go." Like I had an idea, but it was rough after that. Honestly, like we just our relationship obviously wasn't as strong. It still isn't,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But I learned to love myself and just be surrounded with people that support and love me. And honestly, I couldn't be more happier than I am now because I learned a lot from that.
We'll see. That was actually my next question, but it's like to that. First of all, as I always say, I had like a very sort of like contradictory way of like growing things up as a kid because it's like or being exposed to things as a kid because it's like I had a religious upbringing on one hand, like was raised like Catholic and like all that stuff, but my mom was also the one who like introduced me to Madonna. My mom introduced me to Joan Rivers. My mom did all this. So it's like I had these two sort of like conflicting things, but I will say that two coming out, that thing that you said about your mom, that's not something I had to deal with
Oh,
because I came out 4 months after my mom died. So it was only having to come out to in terms of family, like obviously like later on you have the extended family, but it's like overall it was my dad and I have an older sister who was like super accepting and then
that's
I
good.
flashed forward to like November of last year and my sister came out as well. So I'm like,
Oh, I
well,
love
now
that.
that makes sense.
Right. I love it. Yeah, it was hard. It was definitely hard, but cuz like when I did come out, like it was just I kind of had some hope, like, oh, like she's gonna get over it, like she's gonna be okay eventually.
Yeah.
And she kind of like in the beginning, she just like didn't like speak to me, and it was kind of weird because you know, for your own mother not to talk to you, like at least I didn't get kicked out, but still, it's like your own mother not talking to you. It sucks because it's like you expect to have like that safe space with your parents, and
Yeah.
you don't expect them to like fully accept or understand, but at least in a way be there for you. And that moment, like I was just like it was just dark for me because like it was hard, and like the only people that I had was like the friends, and even at that, like I could barely see them because like I could barely go out and all of that stuff, so it was hard. So like I was like very conflicted with like my emotions and all of that. Like I feel happy because I have friends that support me, but then at the same time, my own family, it's like don't support me. So it's like it sucks.
Well, well, see, the thing was with friends, even to this day, I don't have many friends. And it's like, it's not like, it's the thing of, especially like in this industry, like why I don't have many drag friends. It's like, you, you know, just as well as I do, like, there's some bitches who are like gonna be high and say everything to you and talk amazing to you to your face. And then the next minute you turn around behind your back and they're saying something completely
There's
different.
shit. Yep, 100%.
So it's like the person I have like is honestly my best friend. Like, actually, the thing was, we actually came out to each other first. So it's like,
Oh my god, I love that.
yeah,
That is amazing.
like that was that thing. So it's like I had that, but it's like, as I always say, there's a traumatic part. So
Yeah.
I came out to a youth minister at the church. I told him about this performance idea I had with like a knife and how I'd practice stabbing myself for this performance because I'm dramatic, clearly. And like he left the room and he came back in about 10 minutes later. He said, "Okay, you have one of two options. Either you're coming with me or I'm calling the cops."
Stop.
Now, in
What?
hindsight, I would have let him call the cops. I didn't do that. I went with him.
Oh my god.
He took me to get a psych eval.
What the hell? That's insane to me. That
They
is
had told they had told me I had passed it. Like,
wow.
and then like I was on the phone with my dad, like at this hospital. I'm like, yeah, just come back here and get me. Like, I'm all good, dad. And all of a sudden, as I was on the phone, I had a cop yell at me. He's like, get off the phone. I'm thinking
What?
like, I'm thinking like, what the fuck? Like,
Like, what did I do? That's insane.
and
Wow.
then they stuck me in a hospital room for like 5 hours. They didn't tell me anything.
Oh my
And
god.
and then about 2 o'clock in the morning the next day, they told me they did what's called Baker acting in Florida, which is when they put you on a suicide hold.
Oh Jesus. How long
And
there?
the hold was for 72 hours. I had to do 64, but I believe it was because I was brought in on a weekend. Like, had I been brought in during the middle of the week, I probably would have been there a day. Like, but it's like on the weekend psychiatrist wasn't budging with me. He's like, playing with knives is dangerous. I'm like, I know that. Like, I knew what I was doing. Like, I wasn't actually trying to harm myself. I was just being
Right.
creative.
Yeah. I was just trying to be creative.
Yeah.
That was-
And then I got out, and that same youth minister and a priest trapped me in a room, and they set me up with a therapist who
what?
tried to pray the gay away.
Oh my god, they always
Yeah.
do that. They always do
Mhm.
that. Like that's
Yeah.
gonna happen. Like, yeah.
No. And as I say, for me, it was like once everything was done, it's like once I actually left, I basically said like, "Fuck y'all." Like, I know what
Yeah.
I'm doing. Like, you don't like me here. Like, you don't.
I don't feel accepted, like
No,
just yeah. It's good to just leave places that you don't feel accepted or comfortable in. I've learned that the hard way.
no, because
But
it's like everyone like making a big deal about Easter. I'm like, for me, I was like,
you're like,
I
it's
don't
another day.
know. Yeah, it's another day. Like, that's literally, I don't know. For me, the only holiday like I kind of get, and
What do
it's like Christmas, but that's because you get presents. Like, that's
you
or money. It's like, but
it's,
it's like other than that. Oh shit.
I love that.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I accidentally hit a button. That's why I had to unplug it and start over. Anyway, so it's like, yeah, with that, it's like, I don't know, with all this stuff, even like Thanksgiving, it's like when I talk to people about Thanksgiving, they're like, it's such a good holiday. We're literally celebrating.
Yeah.
We're celebrating like pilgrims killing Indians or
Yeah,
killing Native Americans and like
literally. Sometimes I'm
basically
just like,
creating smallpox.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Sometimes I'm just like, there's no point. Like this year, I was like, I don't even want to celebrate Thanksgiving for what? Like, there's no point.
I did because like well, this is the thing. I unfortunately work a job where like every holiday they're open, so it's like
Oh my God, yeah.
I basically I worked Christmas and took Thanksgiving off because like Thanksgiving I got a chance to like go with like a family that's like friends of my mom, so it's like a chance to like meet up with them because as we were talking about before when we were talking about like how I was over at Selma's house, it's like Selma's like, yeah, this is how I'm gonna see you. I'm like, I don't see anybody. Like I am so busy like I doing this, like
Yeah, you
I
don't have to.
literally don't see anybody. It's like if they're not scheduled here, I don't see them.
Those, yeah,
Like literally I haven't seen my best friend in like 4 months because it's like we talk on the phone, but it's like
but
I don't
like
got time to see you. I'm
well,
busy.
it's just you have with work and all of that. You just get caught up with so much stuff that you just don't have time. And it's not that you don't want to; it's just that you just don't have time to like really see anyone anymore. I feel like.
No. And you know it as like an entertainer. It's like if you're like booking stuff, like you're grateful to have those bookings. So it's like
100.
you take what you can get. It's like
Yep,
so it's
100.
like if it's like seeing your best friend or like going to the show to like put your name out there even more. It's like
Yeah,
at the end of the day, it's like it's crazy.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, I mean I oh wait, no, you already answered that. So okay, so what made you want to become a drag queen?
Ooh, okay. So what made me become want to become a drag queen was actually 2 years ago. Actually, me and my boyfriend actually went to New York on a trip like for 4 days, I believe. And one of those nights we actually went to, and mind you, this was like my first ever drag show that I went to. Like I'm 26 years old, so like that was like my first drag show. Like I've never been in that type of scene before, and I went to Lips that night, and when I tell you, I lit up when I saw the first drag queen come out there, and I saw like everybody just like hyping her up and cheering her on, and just them having a good time. I was like, this is something I would want to do, because I just loved that like positivity and that like um that love that they felt. So like I on that's when I realized, I was like, this is something that I want to do. And I even told my boyfriend, I was like, after that I was like, I want to start doing drag. Like I want to start getting into it too, because this is something I see myself doing in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. It's like for me, I always say I kind of like found drag on accident, like
Really?
because it's like when I was, and this is actually my next question for you, is like my start in drag, like as a musician, like I have the like rare story of not getting started in straight bars, like
Right.
because like I used to perform at like open mic nights in like straight bars. That's how I got started. So it's like I had that thing of going against the grain because it's like as a singer songwriter, it's like even even now, it's like granted in the bigger cities it's more accepted, but it's like there have been plenty of times where it's like I've wanted to perform as a drag queen, but I've had places tell me, "Oh, we don't want you to be a part of our show because you sing live."
Oh wow,
And I'm like, "What?" Like,
that's
and
insane.
and it's like, yeah, it's for me, it's like, so what if I sing live? It's like that puts me in a different spot than like everybody else, and it's like
Yeah,
it's
and
just
that's something that like it's very like hypocritical, because like you don't judge all the performers, but then here you are like putting them in a in a bubble, like, oh, you can't do this because you're singing live, so we don't want you to perform. That's kind of like, why though?
and that's how it is around the area that I'm at. It's like, well, I say that, and I don't know if they've heard the stuff that I've said, but it's like, let's put it this way. It's like I've called out people for being untalented on here because it's like, listen, I'm gonna. It's like if you're gonna be, again, going back to this my thing. It's like if you're gonna be fake to me in front of my face and like I don't think I can trust you. I'm gonna tell you what I honestly think about you on here, and it's like
Right.
if you don't like that, it's like my whole thing is it's like my thing is I'm uncancelable because it's like at the end of the day, it's like you can cancel me all you want out there. You can book me all you want out there.
But you're
As long
gonna,
as I have the internet and the computer, I can be
yeah,
able to sit here and interview whoever the fuck
and
I
say
want.
what you
Like,
want. Exactly. Say what the fuck you want. And
yeah.
that's how, exactly.
And it's like, well, this is my thing. It's like when people are like, Harold is like this amazing performer, it's like, again, as we were discussing before off camera, it's like I started out in Orlando. It's like
Hmm.
in Orlando is like one of the top places
Yeah, it is.
to be a drag queen. So it's like I remember the first time I went out after like moving back here from Orlando. I'm thinking, what's this? Like, this is a drag show? Like, seriously? Like,
Like nothing compared to what they have over
no.
there.
Because it's like, the thing was, it's like, especially me, like, the places I went to see drag queens, the place I performed at as like a gay person, it's like, so the place I performed at, it's not open anymore. It was called Parliament House. It's like,
Wow.
it was the top, like, place. They would get RuPaul queens, like, all the
Oh,
time. And
yeah.
it's like, so you're seeing, like, the top of the top. And then, like, all of a sudden you're, like, getting down here. And I'm like, what is with this? I mean, granted, there were some good performers that I saw, but it's like, I'm like, what's with this amateur bullshit? Like,
I love that. Yeah, it's definitely different for sure. Yeah, I've seen that. But,
but I mean, it's the city versus the suburbs, as I always say. Like in like bigger cities, you're gonna get the best of the best. Like,
really good performers, yeah, they're gonna put on a whole show, the whole 10.
but it's like, yeah, it's like, and especially what I always say is like when I talk to people, it's like, again, being a musician, it's like, yes, don't get me wrong, I love drag queens who lip sync, like, no judging. That's what most drag queens do. It's like all these things, but it's like at the end of the day, most of those queens, it's like they can do what, maybe one, two songs. And it's like not judging people who can, but it's like book me on your show. I can do 45 minutes to an hour. Like,
Performance, right?
yeah, because like I had to, like, especially starting out in those open mic days and like starting out in the straight bars, it's like you have to
Hmm.
get the audience on your side. Like that's honestly the
Yeah,
hardest thing.
yeah, that definitely is. You have to move the crowd. You have to like really connect with them in a way to like really have them like, fuck with you in a way. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Especially because like I make all different kinds of music, but I primarily make electronic music. So it's like you sit there like you're doing these electronic beats and I'm singing to them, and it's like every other act after me. It's acoustic guitar, acoustic guitar, acoustic guitar. It's like,
So it's like different. Like
yeah,
it's like you have to move the crowd and like really get them to like vibe with it for sure. Yeah. But it's like people should like the like host and stuff like that, or like people in like bars should be more open to like live people singing, because like I feel like that'll bring in more like a different or another crowd type of crowd into like their events, because I mean, honestly, they should be giving everybody a shot. Like just queens, people that sing live, performers that sing live. That'll be like different and cool to watch.
Yeah, it's like even in like mix of a show, like going back to the night that I met you, it's like seeing Prince Trilla like perform. It's like that to me was like amazing, and it's
It
like
was. It truly was. Yeah.
yeah,
Could see that like a lot.
yeah,
And seeing that was different, and it was nice to see someone put something out that's different, and like this in this community, because like not a lot of people do that, or not a lot of people feel comfortable singing live or rapping live. And what
hmm,
Trilla did that night was honestly like it was amazing.
yeah.
More people need to do this because like it's fun. It's awesome to see.
I know. It's like even after I moved to Detroit, it's like if y'all give me a shot, I will gladly come back. I'll find a way to come back to Florida. It's like because
Yes, it'll be awesome to see you.
yeah,
Definitely.
because it's like it's never not that I've my thing was I used to do so it's like I've actually performed at propaganda before. It's like
Hmm.
the one thing that I will say, like going back in there, it's definitely more lit
Hmm.
than when I used to perform there. Because it's like there's actually one time is like I think it was like right before it was like literally like one of the last times before I stopped performing there. It's like I fell getting off the stage because it's like
Oh,
because like wearing sunglasses inside, it's like if the whole inside of the bar is black and you're not like
black
lighting anything, it's like
thing, yeah.
I took like one step, two steps, and then like I missed the third step and like landed on the fourth. And I landed on my knee forward, and like
Oh.
luckily, and broke my shoe, but I still finished the night. Like
And you were going up the stairs or down the
I
stairs?
was going down the stairs.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
That's so bad. God. But at least you finished, so that's
yeah,
good.
no, yeah. Of course,
As long
I'm
as
someone who's like I've done shit like probably some of the like craziest times. There have been plenty of times where like I've had people like there have been times where like I've needed microphones to be like handed to me, and it's like
yeah.
my tracks, my DJ's already playing my track, and like nobody's handing me a microphone, and I'm like,
Oh my God.
and having like an introduction, and like all of a sudden having to go into like on
You're
like a
ver-
beat of like bam, like get
right.
on the beat and like sing that first word, like skipping the instrumental. I'm like,
Exactly. You're just like
yeah,
fuck it. Fucked everything up.
yeah, but it's like you know, and you move on, like
You do. You just let it be. Like shit happens. Like I've had like performances where like I like almost fall. Or, like I don't know if you saw that night, my shoe fell off, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like I'm gonna just continue to go and like put that bitch on and just continue to perform. Because at the end of the day, like you're just there to have fun, and like if something happens, you fall, you like something comes off, you just suck it up and you just continue and finish it.
that's exactly my thing is like the one thing that I hate is like seeing people give up like
Yeah, no,
in the middle of performing. It's like
I can't do that. I feel like that's I don't know. I feel like that's for me. I feel like that's more embarrassing than doing what like happening what like doing what just happened than actually like you know than giving up and just leaving, because that's like okay, you're just leaving the people just hanging there like okay, what the hell. I wouldn't honestly. I wouldn't ever want to do that. Like do that ever. Like I
no,
can't.
because this is the thing. It's like you look back at. I mean, granted,
Yeah.
this is kind of a bad example, but it's like the one that most people infamously know. It's like that whole thing with Ashley Simpson on SNL. It's like you just walked off. It's like yes, the whole world saw you were lip syncing. It's like honestly, just lip sync the same song twice. Like they
honestly.
already know that, like, but you just like bailed, like,
Just continue and just finish
yeah,
it with grace.
yeah.
Just fuck it. That's how it is.
I
That's how it's supposed to be.
I mean, I've never like as I said, I've never given up. It's like I don't know. To me, it's like the only time I would stop is like, and like you're at a disadvantage not singing live, whereas like I am. It's like if I
Mhm.
see you trying to take my money, trust I'm gonna say something.
Oh right, and you got the mic on top of that
Yeah,
shit.
it's like that's the only time, and it's like other than that, it's like
Oh wait, one sec.
keep on going. Yeah,
There you go. There you go. Oh, turned off. It's okay. Oh no. One sec.
there you go. That.
Okay. It should be my bright light turned off, but it should be connected now. Okay, it keeps on turning off. It's okay. I'm gonna just charge it, but yeah. Sorry, my ring light just turned off. Okay. Should it stay on? Okay. Perfect. There you go.
Yeah, I know lighting's the hardest part. Like,
I know. Oh my gosh, I was here like struggling.
yeah,
Okay, there.
there we go. Anyway, so what was it like for you the first time you performed?
The first time, honestly, I honestly didn't know what to expect at first. Obviously, it was like my first time performing, my first time meeting the queens. So I was like in my head, like overthinking everything. I was so nervous. But luckily, I my first time performing was actually with Spectrum Events with Cash. Actually, she gave me the
Yeah,
opportunity, and honestly, working aside along her and like the other queens, it helped me like be more comfortable. Like my first time, it was like nerve-wracking. It was like around December, actually. I remember 2022 going into 2023.
yeah,
And it was like a Christmas themed show. So I was super psyched. I was like, I need to get my outfit, I need to prepare everything. Um, I got there, like I met all the queens, everything. It seemed surreal to me because I was like, oh my God, this is my first time actually being like in the
yeah,
show and not like sitting out and watching. So it was so like surreal to me. I was like, oh my God, like this is cool. Like meeting the queens and like I was like, oh my God, are they gonna like me, or like are they gonna be nice? Like, because I'm a very like kind, like loving person. I don't,
yeah,
I'm not a shady bitch or anything like that, but that's I'm like, that's why I was like, shit, like I don't know about these queens, but like hopefully they're nice and shit. But like luckily that night I feel like it turned out pretty well. For my first show I was super nervous, but by the end of it, like, all the nerves went away and like I had a good time. I had some of my friends support me for my first show. Okay, it turned off again. um, there you go.
yeah.
Yes.
I will say, like, first of all, speaking to Cash, Cash is one of the like
Yeah.
few people in the Palm Beach area who's like a drag queen who's actually seen me perform live. Because like, I was never like as like a drag performer, I never really did stuff with drag queens. It's like
Yeah.
I always did stuff like I was sort of like the alternative act to everything. It's like
You're good. Sorry.
Yeah. But anyway, it's like the first time performing among drag queens, I'll go with that because like I obviously said my first time. It's like I didn't have nerves. I get nervous now when I have to do stuff because it's like in some ways I'm so detached from it, but it's like back then it's like come on, let's go. Like
Yeah, I mean,
I,
even now performing, obviously I get like nervous, but not as nervous as before.
yeah,
Before I used to be like, oh my god, like this is so nerve wracking. But like I feel like the more I started performing, and especially like expanding, like performing from Delray to like West Palm, Bamboo Room, and the Propaganda, and all of those places, like it's helped me be a little bit more out there and like less nervous. Like obviously I still feel nervous, but like I feel more like excited and ready than like nervous, because again, like it also plays a part of like the people that you're like performing with, and like you're surrounded with. I feel like you feel that connection and comfortability around them.
yeah.
Don't feel like, you're like in competition with anybody or anything. Not that I am in competition with nobody, but you don't know about the
No,
other, you know. But for
but
sure, like that's for me, like that's my number one. Like I get nervous, but like not as much as I used to in the beginning when I started.
yeah, and this was like this goes back to I don't know if we said this on camera, but I think it's that thing of it's like granted, if you're accepted in that like drag scene,
Mm-hmm.
it's great. But it's like I feel a lot of it is very clicky. Where it's like
Right. I feel that. Yeah.
not like and that's one of the things where it's like I've found from like knowing things in Detroit or speaking to people in Detroit, Detroit's not like that in the way that Florida is. And it's like why I'm excited about it. Cause it's like I don't like granted, it's like I don't it's not like I'm gonna sit there and be like, oh, this bitch is getting all these gigs and I'm not. It's like, why is that? I'm like, at the end of the day, it's like, especially if like I consider you friend, I'm happy if like
Yeah. That part.
believe
Yeah.
believe me, like Salma gets all these gigs. I am so happy that she gets all the
Yeah.
gigs that she does. And it's just like how she's happy with me doing this because it's like
Mm-hmm. a
I've
hundred
been
percent.
able to like do things that like honestly a year ago when I started interviewing people, I couldn't have imagined that like I've done this. I've interviewed this famous porn star. I've interviewed these people who have been on TV. I've done all that. It's like I did stuff where it's like because I don't know if you had this like when you started, but it's like when I started doing this, I didn't know if I was gonna succeed.
Oh,
I
same.
was like, if I'm still doing this like 3 weeks later, like it'll be nice that I'm doing it 3 weeks later. But it's like,
Yeah, same. Honestly, like that's when that was literally me when I started. I was like, honestly, I'm gonna give it a shot,
yeah,
and if it's something that I see myself doing, or if it works out for me, then hell, like I'm gonna just continue to do it. And if it doesn't, then whatever. At least I gave it a shot. Because for me, like I'm a very introverted person. Like
same.
I'm very like to myself. Like I'm very like anxious and stuff. Like I can't. Like I really can't. But doing this was seriously like so different to me. So that's why when I started, I was like, if this works for me, this is great, because I'm honestly like doing something out of my comfort zone, and like
Yeah,
that's what I like to do for myself. Like putting myself in an uncomfortable situation and really pushing myself to be better, and like be less, shy and introverted.
yeah,
So I feel like now I'm learning a little bit more and being more like confident in myself, in that sense of like um, giving myself a shot, and like not, because like you said about like not comparing yourself and stuff like that. Like
absolutely.
Yeah, I used to do that in the beginning a lot. I used to like compare myself to other queens, like, oh my god, they're getting so much gigs, like da 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 da. But I had to stop myself and be like, you know what, like I can't do that because I have to push myself, and if I want gigs, I have to really like work for it. I can't be comparing myself to other people. Like I also have to be proud of them. I have to be happy for them,
Yeah,
and that's what I started doing. Because like at the end of the day, you have to really like like really lift other people, so then people can lift you up as well. It's like that's what it's all about in this community. You have to like lift each other up and not tear each other down, because at the end of the day, we're all in this together. We're all trying to make it out here, you know.
right. And one thing is like one thing I'm actually just kind of curious is like now speaking on that is like, do you ever find that it's harder to approach people when you're not in drag? Like,
Um, Honestly, in a way, yes.
because
Because what were you gonna say?
well, the thing I was gonna say it's like the craziest thing is like even the night that I approached you like at propaganda, I had the hardest time, and it's like this is the craziest part. It's like you're gonna be interviewing her in like a week
Like,
anyway. It's like you're gonna meet. It doesn't matter. Like, but it's just I have that thing where it's like, especially like to Cash, like Cash, the when I talked to her, that was the first time she seen me out of drag. She's like, I have to introduce myself because it's like
yeah,
I would say it. You some people, it's like you can clearly tell. It's like my thing is especially like when not wearing sunglasses. It's like yeah, it's like what was it? Going back to that video where like Selma did my makeup and like the pictures from that. Even my best friend was like, I didn't recognize you because it's like that look was so different from anything that I ever do. Because it's like
right.
I'm the sunglass queen, so it's like
Right. That's why that
my
night you came up to me and you were like, "Oh
yeah
yeah." I was like,
yeah
"Oh my, nice to meet you." Like, cause I didn't recognize you. I was like, "Oh my god,
yeah
nice to." Meet you. I was like,
yeah.
"That's."
Nobody
But
does, and I kind of like it that way. It also allows me to like. That's why I've admitted like crazy stories on here about like all sorts of stuff. Like, well, actually, no, I should say all sorts of stuff. Crazy sex stories on here, and it's like there's a certain anonymity that you're able to like. At the end of the day, it's like my job can't look this up because it's like I look nothing like that.
yeah, I get you. No, definitely. That's why, like with me, when I'm out of drag, I'm like a little bit more, to myself, like less, like more less out there in a way. I feel like because it's not easy for me to talk to just people like that. Like if I'm out, like how I was last that night, like
Yeah,
talking to people and shit, and like having fun. Like I can't be like that. Like out of drag, like I'm like with my group of people, and I'm just there. Like
yeah.
I can't go full on conversation or go up to people like that because I don't know. I get very anxious.
It's because when you're drag queen, people approach you like you're so used to people approaching you.
Exactly, and they don't know you as you're like out of drag. They know
Yeah,
you as your persona, your character. So it's
yeah.
like, okay, like I'm not that person that you don't that you don't see out of drag, but so you get to make your own persona, I would say, and
And it's
character.
like the persona that some people make. It's like especially like the lip sync queens. It's like you get to be completely somebody entirely else. Like,
Yeah,
and you chose to be that shady cunt over there. Like what?
literally. That is too funny. Yeah, like no, I can't.
Yeah. So, has anyone ever stolen one of your tips?
Honestly, that I know of, I don't think anyone has stole any of my tips that I know of. Like I told you before, like
Yeah,
from the beginning of when I started until now, luckily I have been working with like almost all the queens like that I've worked with in the beginning, And if not, I have met other queens that have
Yeah.
been like super chill. Like they don't seem like the type to like do that. So
Yeah.
me personally, I don't think I have gotten my tip stolen. So
Yeah.
I would hope that I never did. Cause shit, I always be counting them at the end, like right after. I'm like, let me make sure real quick in case, cause I don't want my shit stolen. I worked for that.
See, I honestly like I am the person who's like I've done things like so like trust the process where it's like the thing is like most drag queens are at like there are advantages and disadvantages to singing live. The advantage is like obviously if people are trying to steal your tips,
Yeah,
you can call them out, but it's like the disadvantage is like you have two hands. I usually have one unless I'm using a headset mic. So it's like I only have one hand to grab. But it's also I'm like I don't know, I kind of like it. That's why even like when people have approached me being like, so yeah, you should do this song and like lip sync it. I'm like, no, that's like my thing is I'm like, that's not what I do. That's
right.
what they do. Like,
That's
don't
not
try and like make me like fit in their box.
right.
So how have you reacted when people have inappropriately touched you?
I don't think I have gotten inappropriately touched. I would say I have gotten a few looks. Never have I ever gotten touched inappropriately as of yet. So that there, I feel like um, I put like I would say a very strong like persona of like where like you can look but you can't touch type of
Right.
thing, because I've I've heard many stories actually of like going to like gay clubs and like bars and
Oh. Okay. Shit.
can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you just froze and came back in. So it's like
No,
the
yeah, but
last thing the last thing I heard was you say I've heard many stories. That was the last thing I heard you
oh
say.
yeah, no, I was saying that I've heard many stories of like queens getting inappropriately touched and stuff, but me, luckily, I haven't gotten like touched inappropriately as of yet, and hopefully not.
See, it's only happened to me once.
Oh, really?
So it's like the thing is like well the thing is like you probably like most drag queens, your wig's like usually bobby pinned in, right?
Yes.
See, my wigs never are, but it's literally because I'm singing live, I know where my head's gonna move.
Right.
So it's like anyway, so I was performing at a place without a backstage. So it was like this happened in Orlando. It's like when I wasn't performing, I was just sitting among the audience, like sitting there watching other people perform. I had some drunk motherfucker literally say, I want to see you without your wig on, and off
Oh
my head.
no, absolutely not. Did you throw hands?
I wanted to. I was like, I was trying to be calm because this is the thing. When I performed in Orlando, I performed in the same bar. So it's like if I had taken off my shoe and beat this person upside the head, the bartender knew me. I probably would have gotten away with it. Because
Shit. Because no, absolutely not.
to
The
me, I was annoyed because it's like the thing is like, especially now, and that wig in particular, especially now, I wear center part wigs primarily because they're the easiest like style and like all that. So it's like now I have to sit there, put the wig back on my head, make sure my part is in the right place so I don't look
oh,
fucking crazy when I go perform
right.
this next song. Because I know motherfuckers are gonna sit there with their cameras out, and it's like,
So you were not even done performing, and he did that to
no,
you.
I was in the middle of performing. Yes, I was in the middle of doing songs. Yeah,
So crazy. Oh my
yeah.
god. That's insane.
But that's the only time it's happened, and it's like,
Oh shit. That was honestly crazy. Cause no,
yeah,
I wouldn't want my wig snatched like that.
no, because it's like, one of those. It's like, yeah, it's like at the end of the day, it's like you don't do that. It's like literally, it's like grabbing somebody's hair, no.
Yeah.
Grabbing somebody's crotch, no.
None of
Grabbing
that.
somebody's ass. My thing is like, especially like me in drag, like I don't pad, so like when you're grabbing on my ass, you're grabbing my actual
I
ass.
mean,
So it's like,
like yeah, no, no, I do pad so. But
yes,
even if I even if I did or not pad, like I wouldn't
yeah,
want anyone touching me, like anywhere, because at the end of the day, like you're just supposed to respect, and it's that simple. But I completely get you because without pad and you're literally feeling a whole ass hand just
yeah.
grab you, like what the fuck.
And it's like, granted, the craziest stories that I've heard in this section are from go-go boys, because like, and strippers, because it's like, at that point, some people are like, just feel that they can do anything. Like,
Of course. Of course.
there's so many people who feel like they could just like go like finger a go-go boy's asshole. It's like,
And
I'm sorry,
that's
that's a
because
fucking person.
exactly, and it's like either they're sober or like a few drinks in, but even at that they shouldn't really, like, if you can't control your liquor you shouldn't really be out here doing that crazy shit.
No, it's like, if somebody's like asking you to touch parts of them, like that's different. Like,
That's different, but like just without
yeah,
any consent, that's like
yeah, that actually, speaking of that, that happened to me last night when I was out at Fort Lauderdale. So it's like, the guy was like there, he's like showing me his dick, and then all of a sudden he's like, "You come with me," and he wanted to take me to a back room, and then when I heard that he wanted me to pay money, I'm like, "I'm good, bye, baby." Like, I'm like, "Fuck you! I already tipped you. I'm not paying you more money." Like,
we're good, this ends here. That is so funny.
and then I was like, I'd never had that happen before. It's like,
You're like, well, this is new.
no, because I was like, I didn't know that was a thing. It's like,
Yeah.
but it's like you live and you learn. It's like,
Exactly.
so where am I? Oh, so I know you said you had a boyfriend, so it's like, I don't know if you have an answer to this question, but have you ever hooked up with somebody who's tipped you?
No, I have not. I have not, no.
I have twice.
You have?
Well,
Shit.
actually, I'm using gay math on the first one because it's like, technically the first time was like 6 or 7 times with the same guy, so it only counts as once.
Oh, okay, okay. So it was the same guy, but two different times.
Well, no. It was the same guy like 6 or 7 times, and then there was another guy. So
Oh,
it's
I
like,
see.
yeah. So like the place I performed at in Orlando used to have like a beach
Mm-hmm.
out back, and like this guy who had like a cross-dresser fetish was like, do you want me to suck your dick? And I'm thinking, yeah. If you're offering, I'm gonna take it. Like, so we went out there, and like I let him do his thing like 6 or 7 times. Like, I'm like, I will gladly do this whenever you want, baby. It's like,
You're like, bitch, I got
yeah.
you.
And then the other time was, so this place, it was known for shenanigans. Like, it was literally like I got fucked in the parking lot. So it's like
Oh
they had
my.
like they had like the regular parking lot, and then they had like this giant field like out towards the back, and it's like that's where we went, and like I let him fuck me until he got nervous. I'm thinking, like, cause somebody pulled up next to him. I'm like, bitch, they're probably doing the same thing that we're doing. Like,
Oh God.
but I'm like, fine, whatever, bro. Like, I'll go back to my hotel room. I'm good.
Right,
Like,
right. That is so funny.
so yes. So, what's your dating life been like?
Dating life, I'm actually
Yeah.
in a relationship
Yeah.
with my boyfriend of 7 years. We're making 8 years
Oh
actually.
wow.
Yeah, this year in October. So pretty long. Pretty long.
Yeah.
So my dating life has been good.
See, mine is it's been complicated. It's now in like a situation where like my man, I am dating somebody now. He's basically like he didn't want to like commit to me at first, and then like all of a sudden when he realized I was actually gonna move to Detroit, he's like, but I don't want to lose you. I'm like,
Oh, now you
I'm
want now you want to freaking be committed. So is it a thing or is it a situationship?
no, it's very like for me, no, it's not a situationship. My thing is he's amazing. He's actually open to moving to Detroit now, which he wasn't at first, but I'm thinking it's like because my thing was he originally said he's like, I want to move to Orlando, and I'm thinking no.
You're like been there, done that, not again.
Exactly. It's like I lived actually there in total, like so I lived a year outside of in the suburbs, and then I lived like 3.5 years in the city. So it's like I
Yeah,
lived there for 4 years. It's like I know what it's like. Not
you
for
don't.
me. It's like
You're tired of it. Yeah.
and there's also there's nothing to do. Like in Orlando, this is how like for how like big of like a tourist area it is. There are 3 gay clubs in the whole city.
Seriously?
Yeah,
That's it?
that's it. Yeah,
Oh wow. Me thinking, oh, there's like a good maybe 10, 15, maybe
no,
three. That's
there's
insane. I didn't know that.
and it's like yeah, there's literally I can name all of them. This is how like there's Southern Nights. There's this place called Savoy, and then there's one that just opened like a few months ago called Stiffies. It's like a go-go dancer club, and it's like, but yeah, that's it. There's like, and I'm like, for me, it's like I always say this: Orlando was a great place to learn how to be a performer. It
Right.
was a great place for me to like start out and like really make mistakes because it's like, but for me now going into my 30s because I'm turning 30 this year. I'm 29, so like yeah. So it's like now it's like with that I know you saw me in person. You're probably shocked by that, right?
What, the age?
Yeah, because somebody told me that when I like told them I was turning 30. They're like, no way, you look like 24. I'm thinking, thank you.
Yeah, no, seriously,
Uh,
you look younger.
thank you. Yes, thank you. It's like for me, it's like again, like Florida, it's like granted, is it like a as I tell people, Florida is a great place to visit. If like that's why all these gays who want to come here is like, but I have such fun in Miami and Fort Lauderdale. I'm like, yeah, that's because you stay here for a week and then you leave.
Exactly. You don't live here every single day, deal with the traffic, the weather, the people,
Oh,
everything. Like,
that that was the other thing. When I see people who are like, "Are you looking forward to warm weather?" I'm like, "It's already fucking here."
It's
Like
always hot. Like
the,
it's hot and humid always. Like never fucking fails. Never, never.
there was like, I don't know if it was like this down where you were, but it's like where I'm at. There was like a week. We had like a week of winter.
Oh yes, when it was like nice and chilly. Oh,
Yeah,
that was like the best week for me because I was like I get to like it's like fresh outside. It's not hot.
yeah,
Um, I would wear like my cute little sweaters. Have a cute little moment.
yeah.
But I rather that than be hot and humid the whole entire every single day and sweating and musty. It's like I hate it. I hate it.
Especially as I point out for people in drag, it's like
Oh, and drag
it's
is
not comfortable. It's like performing in like I see the queens at like Palace. I'm thinking like that's insane that you do this all year round. Like
yeah.
because it's
Cause
like you're literally sliding down like a fucking like pole like in the
oh,
middle.
it's hot as fuck outside. Like, how is that shit
Yeah,
not burning? Like, I can't. No.
it's like that's why was it people were like you do events at night. I'm like at night it's not that much cooler than it is during the day. Like
Humid. Disgusting. It's musty. You're like sweating. You're here like with your fan, like trying to cool off because it's just so hot. It's so uncomfortable. It's super
and
uncomfortable.
there's some places where it's like I don't know this. It's like if you were ever to like book me outside, my response would be like I'd be like I need like Beyonce like
Fans
diva
everywhere.
yeah, because it's like
360 because because I can't. Especially during the day, performing during the day, that's just like I give props to the queens that have and do it every single day, like performing during the day, like for brunches and stuff like that.
yeah.
That's I can't. That's crazy.
See, I've never performed during the day. My thing is like, especially when I get on the mic, it's like I have a tendency to swear, which I feel like is the reason why I can't be booked during the day.
I get you. It has to be PG. You're like rated R. You're not. You have to be.
No, because it's like even like going back to my open mic days when some people would be like, "Oh, how you doing tonight?" I used to be the person who's like, "How the fuck you doing tonight, Orlando?" Because it's like I have to like, especially being first, it's like you got to wake everybody up. Like I know they're gonna fall asleep after I perform anyways. It's like I might as well get them up while I'm performing.
Right.
So actually, like going back to that, there's one night like to end one of my sets, I had screamed "motherfucker" into the microphone to end one of my songs.
Yeah.
And then the following week, the owner of the bar like was back there like mixing drinks, and then like she came up to me, like brought me my water as she's usually do. She's like, "Yeah, there's old people in the audience this week. Don't do that." I'm like, am I not at a fucking bar?
Right. What?
Like you're telling me I can't swear at a bar? Seriously? Like,
It's not a fucking home.
yeah. And like some people would say, like, what time was it? I mean, granted, I will say this: I have been when I was in Orlando, I was the bitch who did 2 shows a night, like every week.
Oh wow.
So like Thursday, my thing was Thursday night. I used to leave my house at like 7 p.m. and I would not get home till 12:30 the next
What?
day, which is like some people are like when I tell people that they're like that's early. I'm like, yeah, but do you realize how long that is? Like,
That's insane.
because I would do like 2 shows. I do one show at one venue. I do like my open mic set. Literally have to get in my car, drive
Wow.
10 minutes down the road to a gay bar, and like perform till 12:30 at night. And it's like,
You were like on the
yeah,
go, like
yeah. It's something to where I will point this out to people in Detroit. I can do it again if I have to. Would I want to do it? No, but I can do it.
That's crazy.
So where am I? Oh, here we go. So, what's your relationship to drugs and alcohol?
Drugs and alcohol. I mean, I think we're friends. We're sisters. I drink on the weekends. When I go out with friends, just
Yeah,
like not an everyday thing. Smoking though, like I do smoke weed. Um,
yeah.
every single day. Shit, morning, noon, night. Um, yeah, I have a really my relationship with alcohol and weed. It's like pretty good, I would say.
See, for me, it's like drugs, non-existent. I don't really do drugs. Alcohol, my thing is like now I perform sober. It's literally just like it's because of the story I'm about to say. So like I had a night where I was performing in Lantana and like I was getting handed I was literally probably like a year younger than you and it's like for me it's like when you're like 25, you don't really know how to tell people like I'm good. Like
Right.
stop buying me drinks. Like
Yeah.
so I was getting handed drink after drink after drink after drink. I had like probably I want to say I had like 6 regular drinks and then like a shot.
And this was before you performed?
This was as I was performing. Like,
I, oh my gosh.
yeah.
What
So
happened?
then like and then I got in my car and I had to drive an hour home because Lantana's an hour from and then like 45 minutes into the drive, I got pulled over by a cop.
Gosh.
And luckily my dad saved my ass, otherwise I would have gotten a DUI.
Yeah, you would have been
So it's like now it's like I will say this, it's not that I can't drink, it's that like I I literally don't have a need for it. And it's like, first of all, at in terms of singing live, it's better for me to be drinking water and green tea anyway. It's like because a
Oh,
lot of people don't know this. Alcohol dries out your throat.
oh yeah. I
Yeah,
can feel sure. That's why I
and
stayed
it's
times.
yeah. But I mean, granted, as a lip sync artist, it's like I kind of get it. And as I always tell people when Go Go Boys are like, yeah, I can't do that shit sober. Again, going back to the point we stated before, when people want to treat you any sort of way, I can understand why you need to be or why you feel you need to be fucked up to do that. Like,
Right.
I'm not like, oh, that's so weird. I'm like, no, I totally got it. Like,
And I can't. No, under like when I perform, I don't really like do like I don't smoke or anything. Like I like to be
yeah,
on my 10 toes. Like maybe before I perform I drink like 1 cup and that's it. And like I
yeah,
feel like little like not even and that's it. But like when I perform I don't like to drink a lot. I don't like to smoke, none of that. I like to be like 100% like there because I don't want to fuck up when I'm performing.
no, and it's like with that, it's like at least this is my view on things. It's like if you have to be fucked up to perform,
Yeah, do it. I mean, shit.
I mean, maybe it's this is just my view. Maybe you're not that good. Like,
Oop, oop, oop. I
I
love.
tell you, I call it like I see it. Like when
I
when somebody's like, I have to get my shots, I'm like, but should you really need your shots? Like,
who need it though? Like, yeah,
because it's like you're doing 2 songs, you're having to be at this place what? Maybe 3 hours, 4 hours at most.
yeah, that's insane.
Like
Like, make it make
as I
sense.
said, I don't know. It's like as I'm saying, I'm like, granted, it's like I get people getting nervous. I understand that. I understand you like needing a drink before you go on, or like a shot before you go on.
Right.
But if you're telling me you need like a beer and like a Long Island and
There,
like
yeah, another,
all
and
the
then
stuff before you even start,
like shit, you're
it's
trying to get yourself fucked up then.
yeah,
'Cause that's insane.
it's it's like maybe you got a drinking problem. Like
For real.
yeah. So what are your thoughts on how the uh, LGBT community is being treated today?
Honestly, it's um very um good and bad, I feel like, cuz I feel
Yeah.
like we're progressing, but at the same time we're like it's like we're progressing, like we're seeing some type of progression in our community, and like with other people accepting us and being more open. But at the same time, we also go back to those people, and we're always going to have this issue where
Mhm.
there's going to be people that, discriminate against us and, like, say a lot of nasty things. So I feel like how the LGBT community is getting treated now is very, like, in the middle. Like, it's just like, it's always, I feel like, unfortunately, it's always going to be, like, very iffy. Because, like, even though we try to progress and try to like build and like be better, like there's always going to be that group that kind of like fucks us over in a way and kind of like
Right.
puts us into like, okay, we got to fight for ourselves again, here we go again. And it's like, it's nice to see the growth that we're kind of getting and the acceptance that we're getting from like a lot of people, but at the same time we are getting a lot of hate as well.
Right. I mean, to this point, I'm gonna say this. First, I'm just gonna briefly say it on Florida. So
Mhm.
all the gay people who feel like I want to move to Florida, don't. Like
Don't.
like it's like everyone's like this is at least my view on it. It's like when people are like, but they have beaches. I'm like, newsflash, California also has beaches.
Literally.
Like, it's like, yes, you're gonna have to pay more to live there, but it's like, first of all, I want to point out this thing. This is literally just a scientific fact. Florida's eventually gonna become underwater, so it's like,
Oh yeah, 100%. We're literally floating on water right
yeah,
now.
yeah.
So shit.
It's like with that, it's like, good luck to you. It's like also it's like, yeah, yes, it's a beautiful, like, especially South Florida, beautiful oceanside area. But it's like, yes, but do you also know how many conservatives live in Florida? Because it's
Oh
like,
yeah, it's crazy. Like even when I'm outside of drag, I'm very like feminine. So like I do my
yes,
makeup. I like to get dressed up, and like I get looks. I get looks, and even if I don't have anybody directly say something offensive to me, I know that they're thinking it just the way they're looking at me. So it's like for the gays that like were like, oh my god, I want to move to Florida. It's so nice, like Miami, the Fort Lauderdale. Oh my god, like that's awesome. Like no, it's not. There's like a lot of conservatives here. You're gonna get a lot of looks. You're not gonna feel comfortable. Like, yeah, you can still be yourself. Nobody's ever gonna stop you to be
yeah,
yourself. At the end of the day, you would want to move somewhere that you feel comfortable and like accepted, and at least comfortable and safe enough to walk out of your house and be like, I'm good, that I'm not gonna get all these looks. Cause like, and no matter where you move, there's always gonna be like an unsafe area. There's always unsafe areas
absolutely,
everywhere. But I feel like if I were to be in California, it will be a little bit more, it'll be better and it'll be more accepting as to living here in Florida, where it's
yeah.
like more conservative and more like close minded. And, you know,
That's the point that I bring up with people about Detroit. It's like it's like, yes, it's like, granted, are there bigoted people there? Yes, there's bigoted people
Yeah.
everywhere, but it's like, overall, it's like, as I point out to people, it's like, not only is Detroit a very liberal state, it's a union state. So it's like, to Florida, you could literally walk into your job tomorrow, and if they feel like firing you, they can fire
They
you, and they don't
you.
have to give you a reason at all.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That
And
part.
like, and it's like, for that, it's like, at least like getting some sort of security.
Yeah.
I mean,
100%.
granted, granted, like, would I want to? This is how I put it to most people. Most artists aren't doing jobs that they love to pay the bills. It's like, if you're in that like category of artists who actually gets to like make a living
Mm-hmm. Right.
doing what you love, so fortunate, so lucky. Like, I see people, I'm like, honestly, work. Now to those people, and I've actually lost a friend pointing this out, where it's like, if you like, this is what I say to people. It's like,
Mm.
if you're an artist and like your whole thing is like you're trying to be an artist, and like all
Right.
of a sudden you rebrand yourself doing
Mm-hmm.
the same shit that you did before you were an artist, and telling people you had an evolution, don't lie to your fans like that. You didn't
Yeah.
have an evolution. You realized that the bills had to be paid, and
Mm.
you couldn't be an artist like full time anymore. And it's like, nobody's gonna like hate you for that. But it's like,
Exactly. Just be straightforward.
yeah, but it's like, don't lie to your fans. Like, this is
Yeah.
the thing. I've done that thing where it's like, I've never lied. I've never lied to my fans. I tell people now, like, am I the happiest I've ever been? No, of course not. Like, there's a reason, as I tell people, like, that thing of wanting to, me having these feelings of like being uncomfortable and knowing that like I'm not happy where I am is just proof that like I need to leave. Like,
Yeah.
if I felt completely comfortable where I was, I'd
Then you
have no reason to go.
exactly. Exactly.
But it's like that thing of, and people are like, it's why it's like all the stuff that like I'm going through, like all the like bad stuff, as I've pointed out, like, as I always say, like, God bless you, my man. He has to put up with stuff. Like, I literally had like one of those, like, in Fort Lauderdale, I had like a reality style like fit yesterday, because
Yeah.
it's just like, in terms of like, none of my bodysuits fit right, because like I've put on like a lot of weight, and I realize like a lot of that is having to do with stress. Like, it's like I look at myself, it's like I'm absolutely stressed. Like, moving is a lot. Like,
Oh God, yes.
you know,
Especially that you're moving like somewhere completely out of Florida, so it's like
yeah.
definitely.
But it's like, at the end of the day, and then like I ended up hugging him. I'm like, thank you. I'm like, because he understands. It's like, that's what I need. I need someone who's like, and like, probably you've gotten this as an entertainer. It's like, if you have a man who's like, don't do this, this, and this as an entertainer, it's like, but you should understand that like, coming into the game, there's certain shit that like you're just gonna have to deal with.
Yeah. Yep.
Like with me, like being a podcast host and flirting with like attractive guys. It's like, that's
Right.
part of my like thing. It's like,
That's your job, basically.
yeah, it's like, so what? You're it's like, you're gonna be jealous. I'm like, bye. Like, you clearly ain't the one. Like,
Right. Like if you're not with it, then bye. This is just professionally. This is nothing like, and that's that.
no, I understand the like thing of people is like, but I don't want you to like sit there and be like, doing all this stuff. It's like granted, it's like everything I do as a performer, it like kind of turns off when I'm not a performer.
Right. Right.
It's like yes, I may sit there and like make out with a few backup dancers. It's like, but I'm not doing that when I'm done. Like at the end of the day, it's like to people who like what was it? The movie Tu Wong Fu, like where people are like, these drag queens are just drag queens 24/7. It's like that's a nice idea in theory,
Yeah.
but no.
Yeah.
It's
No.
not like comfortable or
No, not at all. Not
and
at
it's
all.
like and it's like at some point it's like even to people, as I always say, when people say like, "Oh my god, that drag queen was like bitchy to me." It's like I get where you're coming from. People shouldn't treat you that way, but like think about it this way.
She's been probably in drag for 6 fucking hours, 7 hours. She
They're
tired.
in they're in drag 6-7 hours. They're in heels that are uncomfortable. A lot of the times they're tucked. I don't, but that's just my like own androgynous like rock thing. It's like I dress half fucking naked and like layer shit back because like
Right. That's your work. That's your art. That's your
it's
drag.
my thing. It's like it's like I'm having to sing live. Like I need to be as comfortable as I can be to do this. Like
Yes. Jeez.
yeah, but
Yeah.
like other than that, it's like in terms of being rude to people. Um, I have one simple rule, which is do not approach me. This happened to me again once in Orlando. This happened in the straight bar. It's like do not approach me to take a picture when I'm in the middle of trying to perform.
Oh yeah. No. Of course not.
And I had somebody do that. That was another one of those situations where like I had my track playing in the background and like I had to like jump in on the song like past
Hmm.
past the like instrumental like intro.
Yeah.
It's like I was doing "Do What You Want" by Lady Gaga, and I had to hit that like ah like
Yeah.
right in, and it's like to me, it's like that's nerve wracking. But
That is.
you do it, yeah, you do it, but it's like you do it because you have to be like professional.
Yeah. Of course.
But yeah, don't do that. It's like
Don't. Yeah. No.
take videos all you want, take pictures all you want. It's like after I'm done performing, I will gladly
Glad to take pictures with you.
after I've touched up my makeup, like I will
Oh,
gladly
you're not gonna be all sweaty and shit. And like, okay,
yeah
we're like, no. Let me get ready first. Let
yeah.
me.
But it's like it was like other than that, it's like yeah, I'll take a picture with you. It's like I don't care. Like
Yeah.
those people who are like no, not me. First of all, it's like that doesn't really happen with local queens. It's more like drag race queens. It's like
Yeah.
my thing is first of all, who are you? It's the same thing like when people have asked me to pay them money to be on here. It's like bitch, who the fuck are you?
Like, girl. What?
No, the most recent one I had somebody from the most recent cast of For the Love of Dilfs literally say they're like, I hope you're okay with my $100 interview fee. I'm thinking, bitch, fuck off. Like,
Stop it.
I'm like, I am not fine with that. Like, no,
Be like, no, no, no. We did not agree to this.
no, because he brought that up because he agreed to do the interview, and then he's like, I hope you're fine after I've written the questions. I'm thinking,
Wow.
nope,
You're like, no.
that's not that's not even that's the the most amount of money. I'll do this before we get to the last question.
Mhm.
I had somebody ask me for $1,000.
$1,000? What?
Yeah,
That is just ridiculous. No. Who do they think they were? Who they are? What?
I'll tell you who it was. I have no problem. I've said it on here before. So
Who?
the
The
porn star Topher DiMaggio.
Oh my god, $1,000? Stop.
Mhm.
That's fucking insane.
And I'm like, this was last year. I'm thinking like, bitch, not only are like you have not been popping for like 8 years. So
Like,
it's like
calm down.
it's like it's like calm down. It's like because my thing with that is it's like if I'm paying somebody to be here, my thing is from that notion, they're gonna be fake with me
Oh yeah,
because they're only doing it for money, and it's like,
exactly. They're not gonna be genuine. They're not gonna really do it for like just to do it. They're doing it for the money at that point.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like I can't do the thing that I do with people because it's like I'm gonna feel hesitant to open up if like the only
Yeah.
reason you're there is for like,
Money.
yeah,
I get that.
uh, yeah. I've stuck to like there have been plenty of people where it's like I only thought about it once, and I'm like, but in terms of like them paying them money, I was gonna start doing like a GoFundMe because it's like
Yeah.
if I get your money, it's like it's not gonna be my money that I'm giving you. I'm gonna
You're
give you
right.
somebody else's money because it's like
Oh, so funny. No, but that's
but
actually, yeah, like if you were to do that.
no, because it's like for me, it's also it's like that's like selling out. It's like
That is.
that's and I mean that doesn't, as I say, that doesn't happen very often because it's like
Mm,
most people, it's like want to do this because they're like, first of all, it's free promotion. It's like
100%.
so that and like the other one is, and I know this is very like I hate having to deal with managers like and having people say like I have to go talk to my management company because like for me it's like you can't it's like you can't make a decision by yourself.
Right.
It's like I understand you having to like check your schedule. I completely get that. You want to
Mm-hmm.
be able to show up, but it's like having to ask your manager if you can do something. That's why like as an artist, I have no problem staying independent. I'm probably gonna have to hire a manager at some point, but it's not gonna be a manager who's gonna tell me what I can and can't do. It's gonna be
That
somebody who's gonna be like basically like make sure I can get places on
just
time.
having everything organized for you
Yeah,
type. But not like, okay, you do this, you do that, and you say this, you say that. No, that is on you. But like, just somebody else eventually to like manage you and like at
yeah,
least keep you organized a bit more.
yeah. And to my final question, what's the biggest misconception about you?
Me? Oh my gosh. I feel like a lot of people think that I'm a bitch based on my pictures.
Yeah.
I feel like they think that I'm just a bitch, and I'm really not. I'm so fucking
No.
friendly. I am so humble. I am the sweetest person you'll ever meet. I am so uplifting, and but obviously you've seen my Instagram. A lot of people
Yes.
see it and they're like, "Oh, I thought you were just a little mean or like a bitch or something." I'm like, "No, I'm not." Trust me, that's just like my post is. I'm giving face, but I'm not none of that. I'm a very loving person. I'm not a bitch. I'm not mean. Um, if you try me, obviously I can be a
Yeah.
bitch. I'm not a bitch just to be one. Not like, not like that. Of course not. Like if you come up to me, I'll be like, "Hey, like what's up?" Have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
But never just be like mean to anybody for no reason. But that's like
Mhm.
the biggest misconception I get a lot.
Yes, I get that. First of all, it's like with that bitch, it's not an uncommon answer that's been on here. I've got a lot of people that have been told that they're bitches. The ones that I've gotten to, one of them is that I'm intimidating, which I mean, granted, I'm not short. Like I'm 6'3", so I mean like I can get maybe a little bit, but again, it's like have a conversation with me. That's
Exactly.
one of yeah. That's one, and then I've been told before that I'm shady.
You're like, shit.
Well, this is my thing. First of all, it's like when people are like, "Oh my god, that drag queen's a little bit shady," I'm thinking, duh. Like, have you not watched Drag Race? Like, there's literally an entire challenge where everyone has to
Literally,
read each other.
yeah.
It's like, granted, it's like, I am opinionated, and have I had shady thoughts? Yes. This is my thing. In truth, when people say like, I will admit I'm opinionated and I run my mouth. In my
Mhm.
defense with that, in truth, just like the kind of life I've had, I honestly thought I was gonna be dead by now. So like, I figured I'm like, if I figured, because here's the thing, I thought I was gonna be dead at 25. I'm like, well, if I'm gonna be dead at 25, might as well run my mouth, like,
Right.
because it's
Just say,
like, but it's like again, as I said, now almost approaching 30. It's like I'm like, fuck,
you're like, oh
like,
shit. Now to be serious, not to watch my mouth actually.
nah, like,
You're like,
because well, this is my thing. It's like, would you rather me like lie and sit here and tell you what you want to hear, or would you rather me tell you what I honestly believe? Because I
exactly.
feel like with that, it's like, yes, understood.
Hmm. But
You think,
I feel like saying like telling them the truth. I feel like that's not being bitchy or shady. I just feel
yeah,
like you're just being honest. And
yeah,
if they take it the wrong way, then that's on them. Honestly, that's on them being like, okay, well, they're being shady. No, they're not. They're just being truthful to you. Like a lot of people like take that the wrong way, just being honest to being like shady and like, oh my god, you're just being mean, like you're just being like a bitch or like. But honestly, like you saying like, um oh, I'm just, would you rather have me like tell you what you want to hear or tell you like the honest truth? Like, shit, I would rather the honest truth than having, because I'm the type of person that I take criticism. I
yeah.
take, because at the end of the day, like, I need to grow from it. Like, and I don't want people being like, oh my God, yeah, yeah, you did that. And like, I'm here, like, okay, cool. And I'm still doing the same shit, looking like an idiot, you know? So it's like, it's good getting like a feedback from other people, but a lot of people can't handle that, so they take that as, oh, you're shady.
No, and it's honestly again going back to living in LA. It's like that like bubble, like
Mm-hmm.
it's like getting propped up. It's like at the end of the day, it's like if you only have one thing as an artist,
Mm-hmm.
like if somebody like I know somebody out there who's like their whole thing is like I have this villain persona and I just make songs about being evil and all this stuff, and I'm like, but when's the audience going to see the real you? Because as a songwriter, they should be seeing the real you. That's why, like,
Exactly.
especially with my album, like I put literally all the stuff that like most people wouldn't talk about. I wrote about it because I'm like, at the end of the day, it's like your art, especially for me as a drag singer songwriter, it's like you're already at a disadvantage of people thinking that you're putting on a front.
Right.
So it's like now you sit there and like you have to be extremely. I'm not gonna want to put out like. I mean, granted, yes. Don't get me wrong. I love the Alaskas. I love Manila Luzon. I love all that. It's like those
Yeah.
drag tracks are fun, but it's like at the end of the day, it's like I don't want to make gay music. I want to make music.
Right. Exactly.
Eh, and it's like
And
with
something
that
that
is
actually,
God. No, no, God, God.
no, I was just saying that what is
Yeah,
something that you would enjoy doing, like writing about, not
yeah.
just something that's out there, like that everybody listens to. That's, you want to be do your own thing.
And it's like doing your own thing. It's like I kind of love it because it's like there's nobody really like compare me to, and it's like with that, it's like, granted, I always say there's selling out, and then, as I say, there's selling out, and then there's like making music. Because it's like, granted, I'm gonna put my money into this album, and it's like, but if I don't see like big numbers, I'm not gonna be the artist to sit there and be like, "Come on, everybody, let's get this song to 50,000 streams on Spotify." It's like, oh, so you're doing this as a cash grab. You just wanted the money, and like,
Yeah, exactly.
that's why it's like, it's my story. I don't care if my songs are part of the next TikTok trend. If they are part of the next TikTok trend, great. If they're not, it's my
You're
story.
doing it because you enjoy doing it, and whoever hears it, hears it and connects with it. I
Yes.
agree with that 100%. Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, with that being said, it was nice getting to like sit down and actually like talk to you and get to know you, because it's like, as I was saying before, you don't really get to meet people at a party, and but it's like now to like sit down and talk. That's
100.
why I love doing this. I'd love to get
Yeah, it was
more
nice.
people on.
It was. Thank you so much for having me. It was a
Of
pleasure.
course.
Like, this was amazing. This was my first podcast, and it turns out amazing.
Thank you.
Of course.
Anyway, with that being said, this is Gay Out the City. I'm your host, Prince Electro Diamond, and I hope you've enjoyed.
Bye.